Pablo Escobar is a name which requires no introduction, as Escobar is arguably one of the most successful people in the world. Escobar operated a business model way ahead of its time through a clever understanding of the system and many connections. And here are some of the craziest facts about Escobar. Pablo Escobar was the son of a farmer and a school teacher who began his life of crime when he was still a teenager. Escobar's first illegal scheme was selling fake diplomas. He then branched out into falsifying report cards before smuggling stereo equipment and stealing tombstones to resell them. Pablo Escobar also stole cars, and it was this offense that resulted in his first arrest in 1974. Shortly after that, he then became an established drug smuggler, and he had helped found the crime organization that grew into the Medellin cartel. Pablo Escobar earned the nickname King of Cocaine. He was the sole leader of the Medellin cartel, founded in 1976. The cartel soon monopolized the cocaine trade into the USA in the 1980s and 1990s. The cartel was responsible for 80% of the cocaine sent to the US at its peak. Escobar's drug business reached such an enormous extent that he was smuggling 15 tons of cocaine every day at one point in his career. He even used to smuggle cocaine in plain tires. The pilots could earn as much as $500,000. Escobar worked to implement an effective, inescapable policy dealing with law enforcement and the government, known to be plata o plomo, or silver or lead. Escobar was responsible for the 1989 murder of Colombian presidential candidate Luis Carlos Galán, a favorite in the 1990 Colombian presidential election, and the bombing of Avianca Flight 203, and the 1989 DAS building bombing in Bogotá. Pablo Escobar was the seventh richest man globally at the height of his career. As a result of his vast drug business, he amassed an estimated net worth of $30 billion in 1993, equivalent to $64 billion in 2021. He is still the wealthiest criminal in history, and nobody has ever come close to his reported $30 billion of wealth in the criminal world. His cartel was earning roughly $420 million in a week from their drug business. Pablo appeared on the Forbes list of the world's richest for 7 straight years. Beginning from 1987 until he died in 1993, he was ranked by Forbes among the wealthiest men in the world, and in 1993, he reached his peak position 7th on the list. At its peak, the Medellin cartel dominated the cocaine trade, earning an estimated $420 million per week and making its leader one of the wealthiest people in the world. Escobar's lavish lifestyle included luxurious homes, private planes, and over-the-top parties. In the 1980s, Escobar reportedly offered to pay off his country's debt of $10 billion if he'd be exempted from any extradition treaty. However, despite his best efforts, even Escobar couldn't spend all that money. According to his brother, around 10% was written off annually, eaten by rats, or destroyed by the elements. In some cases, it was simply lost. Despite his brutality for the better part of his notorious career, he frequently distributed money through housing projects and other civic amenities, gaining popularity among the poor. Pablo Escobar was named Robin Hood after he funded numerous programs to help Colombia's poor citizens. He gave money to churches and hospitals, established food programs, built parks and football stadiums, and also created a barrio. Escobar's private zoo was said to be home to among 200 animals, including ostriches, zebras, elephants, camels, and giraffes. Many of the creatures were smuggled into the country aboard Escobar's drug planes. After he died in 1993, most animals were transferred to zoos. However, 4 hippos were left behind. They soon multiplied, and by 2016, upwards of 40 lived in the area. The potentially dangerous animals have damaged farms and inspired fear in locals. Authorities began castrating male hippos to control the population. Pablo Escobar was not settled with the title of King of Cocaine. He wanted more power and wished to become the president of Colombia. Pablo's political career had even escalated in 1982. In the Colombian parliamentary elections of 1982, Pablo was elected as a member of the Chamber of Representatives from the Liberal Party. He was an alternate member, a stand-in for another guy's seat. However, his political ambitions were crushed by Justice Minister Rodrigo Lara Bonilla, who, in an open speech, called Pablo a drug trafficker. Escobar had to step down from the seat, and Bonilla was later gunned down in a motorcycle drive-by. Even though he was one of the wealthiest people in history, He was a criminal. His wealth had come from heinous crimes and the biggest drug business in the world. Under his drug reign, Colombia came to be called the murder capital of the world. The country witnessed 25,100 violent deaths in 1991 and 27,100 in 1992. Escobar followed his plata o plomo way of solving his problems, meaning silver or bribes or lead or bullets. Escobar was responsible for the deaths of as many as 4,000 people, including numerous police officers, judges, government officials, and journalists. Escobar used his power, wealth, and fame to get himself elected to Colombia's Congress. It is believed that the real reason behind his approach toward politics was the fear of extradition, and only Escobar's influence in the country's House of Representatives and Senate can revert it. This was no doubt the biggest mistake Escobar had ever made. After being in a war with the government for many years, Pablo Escobar finally decided to surrender, but it was not a normal one. He cut a deal with the Colombian government to stop mass bombings on Colombian streets and surrender. Still in favor, he will be in a self-governed prison surrounded by his sicarios, and no state official could intervene. The jail was then called La Catedral, and his luxurious jail housed a casino, a nightclub, and even a spa. It is reported that the Medellin cartel spent over $2,500 every month on just rubber bands to hold the money with them. It was kept secret since the money was largely gained through their drug smuggling business and other related illegal activities. It was earlier considered a myth, but Pablo's brother, Roberto, confirmed that Pablo and other cartel members spent about $2,500 on just buying rubber bands to hold the massive amounts of money. During Escobar's time in La Catedral, Pablo Escobar ran his drug empire with the help of General Noriega. Manuel Antonio Noriega Moreno, the military dictator of the state of Panama, was the main player on behalf of the Medellin cartel until his surrender in 1989. Moreover, while there is no definite proof, there is a chance that he also had close relations with Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega. Pablo Escobar loved his daughter Manuela. She was his daughter from Hanau, the 15-year-old he had eloped with. In an interview, their other child, Juan Escobar, revealed that once their family was in a hideout in the Medellin mountainside, Manuela became hypothermic. Unable to find a solution for it, Pablo Escobar burnt about $2 million to keep Manuela and the family warm, burning crisp banknotes worth $2 million just to support his family. After a 16-month search led by Search Block that cost several millions of dollars, Pablo Escobar finally died. There is a huge controversy surrounding if the force killed Pablo or he shot himself and committed suicide. It is not even sure if Pablo was shot in a gunfight or an execution by the task force. On December 2nd, 1993, Pablo celebrated his 44th birthday, and just one day after, his hideout in Medellin was discovered. Escobar and one of the bodyguards rushed to the roof and indulged in a gunfight with forces, ultimately ending Pablo's life. The biggest criminal in history finally lay still on the ground. Did you know about these facts? Get involved and let us know in the comment section down below what you think about today's video. If you liked this video and found it informative, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, if you do not want to miss out on any new future videos like these, then be sure to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification under this video so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you have a great day today, and we'll see you in the next video.